Hello friends, Pete the Drummer here, and in this video we're going to do something quite different. In this video, I'm going to rewire this old lamp. That's right friends, very different from my usual content of hiking and exploring and the occasional drum related video. In this video, like I said, I'm going to try and rewire this old lamp. Now, this is not something that I've ever done before. My dad tells me that this lamp was built by his grandfather, so it is quite possible that this lamp is close to 100 years old, which is pretty cool. I doubt it, but still, it's really old. I also don't know to the extent of what my great-grandfather would have actually built on this lamp. Like, did he carve this decorative piece? I doubt it. It's more likely that he made this cool shade, which has certainly seen better days, but it's so old that I'm afraid to clean it for fear of any more of this stuff flaking off, whatever this is. This, obviously, not appropriate for this type of lamp, but with a low wattage bulb, this glows a really cool, like, fiery red-orange. So, hopefully we'll get to see that. Anyway, the problem with the lamp is, first off, the bulb receptacle is all loose, as you can see. And second, the pull chain part no longer pulls. So, I need to replace it. So, to replace the old pull chain, I went to Lowe's and got myself a new pull chain receptacle. And this really couldn't be any easier. You simply unscrew, you unscrew this cap, and then the whole interior section comes away from this mounting section. And you can see it's got a little set screw right there. So that set screw will screw down onto the base interior of the lamp. This is another pull chain mechanism, and I need the pull chain for two reasons. Obviously, with the shroud covering the whole thing, you can't get your hand in there to turn a switch. And then also, because of this dish part here, the pull chain goes through that hole that's right there, and that's how it works. So I had to get another pull chain style. But as you can see, there's two little screws here, right there. And then so all you do is you take your new lamp wire, this is literally called lamp wire, screw them, strip away some of the ends, and then just screw them in there. I'll show you all in the close-ups. And then same thing for the plug. You just wire the plug the same way. There's two little screws in there. Strip away the ends of the wire. Screw it in. I can't imagine this can be any easier. So let's get started with complete disassembly of this. And as you can see, the cable goes through the center of the lamp. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove this. Set that aside, and then I believe, yeah, this has already come loose from the interior base end. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to cut this wire. And I would reuse the wire, but I don't know how old this wire is, and I don't know what condition the plastic covering might be in. So it's cheap enough, I might as well just replace it all. So I know I've got wire cutters, but I don't know where they are right now, so I'm just going to use a razor blade. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then there's the old receptacle and the old plug, and I'm just going to throw all this straight into the trash. The band has had a really busy couple of weeks, and so you can see my big pile of acoustic drums back there. I normally keep my drums in a storage unit, but I've been in and out and switching different drum sets so often these past couple of weeks that it's just easier to keep them down in my basement. Unfortunately, that means I can't practice on my electronic kit, but it is what it is. Anyway, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is measure out a good, let's say 8 feet of this wire, and I'm going to wire the plug end first, because once that's set, then I can fish up the other end through the lamp and wire the bulb receptacle in place, you know what I mean? And then so if it ends up being over 8 feet of length, it doesn't really matter. So my T-square here is 2 feet. So let me get, so that's 2 feet there. So that's 4 feet, 6 feet, and 8 feet. Okay, so that's 8 feet of wire right there. Perfect. I can put my T-square away. Now, before any of you all start commenting, of course I have wire cutters, and I also have a wire stripper, so I'm going to need to get that. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, so I couldn't find my wire cutters, but I did find a pair of scissors. That'll do, because really I don't need to cut the wire. All I need to do is slice down the center here and separate the two wires. What's most important, however, is I found my nice clean wire strippers. Now, if you guys are into like DIY kind of tinkering, if you don't have one of these things, you're really missing out. What it does is it's a double clamp system. You see how that works? So it clamps down on the wire end there, and then it clamps down on the rest of the wire. So like this end is what's going to be stripped, and then it, as you squeeze, then it clamps down on the rest of the wire. So it cuts the little end, and then as you squeeze more, it separates it. It's holding the wire secure on this side and pulling the shroud off of the wire itself from this side. These things work great. Let me demonstrate for you. So first I'm going to just get a little slice going so I can separate the two wires. Like so. Now I need a little more space than that. Now I don't want to strip away too much of the wire, so I'm going to put it in, I think this is, what gauge is this? Is this 18 gauge? 18 gauge sounds good to me. So I'm going to put it in the second slot here. Let me clamp down on it and show you. See that? And I'm only going to strip about a ½ inch, not even a ½ inch. But as I've squeezed the unit, you can see this end clamps down and cuts the shroud, and then that end comes down and holds the wire secure, and then when I pull or squeeze more, it pulls. See that? Genius. Same thing. And now I've got two perfectly stripped ends of this wire. So let me get the plug, and this plug has one screw right there, and the whole plug comes apart. Oh, it doesn't come apart, it's hinged. That's cool. Hinged on both ends. And then, as you can see, each side has a little screw, one side for each of these wires. So yeah, this really couldn't be any easier. So I'm just going to unscrew it a little bit. I find when I'm doing this kind of thing, I find it easier to twist the braids together, and then just using my thumb, I'm going to make a little hook. See that? Just like that. So that this way, when I go to hook it on, alright, I'm going to have to fiddle with this, in a more comfortable position, but you get the idea. The hook is going to hook around the center post of that screw right there. Well, that's screwed down, but I'm not comfortable with that. I don't think that's good enough. So I'm actually going to strip these wires a little bit more, just so I've got a little bit more wire to work with. And there it is. I hope you guys can see that okay. But the braids of the wire like this are all secure under that screw. So now I just got to do the same on the other side. Just with the back end of this razor, I'm just going to clean it up a little bit, make sure cables are nice and tucked. Tighten it down. There is. Now this side isn't as clean as the other side. You can see a little bit of the frayed ends, but it's sealed, it's protected, so it's not a big deal. Now I need to make sure that the wires are going to clear the screw hole, which it looks like they will. So now I just put the screw back. There it is. There's my plug. And if you didn't know any better, you would think this is just a regular plug. Perfect. Alright, so now I'm going to feed this other end up through the lamp, making sure to leave myself plenty of slack, plenty of excess. Just like that. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I want to test something. Because this inner piece here is threaded, and this inner piece is also threaded, and I wonder... look at that. Yep, fits right on. Perfect. That's awesome, because I'm not going to have a screwdriver that can get to that little set screw. So, and you know what, I mean, I might as well leave this here. Well, actually, no, I gotta line it up. Let me line it up like that. Alright, so what I did was I rotated this dish, which is now held secure by the tension from the threads of this centerpiece, and what I did was I lined it up so that the slot where the chain is going to go through also lines up with the hole in the dish, so that the chain will pop through. Like that. Okay, so now I can feed the wire up through. What are we up to? We're already up to 20 minutes. Don't worry, I'm going to edit this. Alright, so now I'm feeding this through. And again, I'm using my scissors just to slice the two wires in half. Now I can use my hands to pull the wires apart, like so. Now these two set screws are pretty close together, so I think I've got about as much slack as I need. I'm going to cut off a good amount of the shroud, so I've got a lot of wire to work with to make a little curlicues. That's it. That's a good amount of exposed wire. Let me braid this together. Same thing here. Alright. And I'm going to loosen these screws. I believe these will not, yeah, these only back out so far, so you can't remove these screws. And then, I hope you guys can see this alright. I'm just going to hook this wire right around the screw. You see that? And I want to make sure that the wire is closed in enough. So I'm going to hold it like this, and this way, as I tighten down this screw, it will grab the wire and kind of pull it in place. I'm going to give it a little nudge with my razor. There we go. And then tighten down. Same thing for this side. Let me get this done, and then I will show you what's what. Alright, and this is what that looks like. And the other one. You can see some of the frayed edges there, but again, it's going to be inside the surround, so I'm not worried about. It's certainly not going to come into contact with any other exposed metal or anything. So now all I have to do is gently pull the wire through, make sure the pull goes down the hole, make sure this all lines up correctly, and I want to get it really seated in there securely, like so. And then, while I've still got tension on the cable, I'm holding the bulb receptacle down into the surround, and I'm keeping pressure on the cable, on the wire, with my hand so that it's not going to try and pop out. Now this part just goes over top and screws down. Be careful not to cross thread it. There we go. And that's it. Once it's nice and tight, now I can let go of the wire, tighten everything down. So now I'm going to put this awful bulb in. I don't even know if this bulb works. So let me plug this in and we'll give it a test. Okay, moment of truth. First things first, I'm going to make sure to very carefully plug this wire in because I don't want to shock myself. Okay, everything's plugged in, and now, here we go. How awesome is that? Unfortunately, I can't turn off the overhead lights because it's all on the same electrical, so if I turn off the overhead lights, then the power to my extension cord will go out, and that means this lamp will go out. So, but you get the idea. Pretty cool. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. I hope you found this video informative and helpful if you have a project like this to do, at your house. Stay tuned for more hiking and adventure videos. Stay tuned for more drumming related videos. I've got lots more coming up. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon. And that's it. Thanks for watching.